Hello guys. I hope you are all doing well. Um Let me know in the chat if everything is working. You should see now the screen of the on PC system, software, whatever. And I hope the the audio quality is good. Badru, Lightning Designer. Hey from India. Hi from Austria, from my parents' home. So, what we're gonna do today is going over the three-step chaser. Uh, the idea I got shown from Pascal. Um, he's a light operator that operates most of the stages that I always wanted, or that I always want to do lights on, especially the Q-dance stages, all the hardstyle shows that are pretty big, like the DEFCON Red stage, Climax, which is one of my favorite shows. Also DEFCON, that's my favorite outdoor festival. And yeah, he I've watched him, I think 3 years ago, programming for Capital, and he showed me the three step chaser and a little bit how it works, and I copied it pretty much, and later on I made it my own way. I changed the layout a little bit. In the beginning it looked like that, so the easy explanation for the three step chaser is step 1 represents Q1, step 2 Q2, and step 3 Q3, and this just goes in line with just like that. And then over here that's also line 1, 2, and 3, or Q. um, it basically let me chooses what I want to do in Q1, what I want to do in Q2, what I want to do in Q3. I have multiple or a few different selections. So I have a two-part, which only takes the step 1 and step 2, and then I have a three-part down here. So in my two-part, I have left-right, so it's just pretty easy explanation. The left side of the stage and the right side of the stage. So the left side is a Q1, the right side is Q2. Then I have down up, which is obviously the bottom of the stage. Mostly, it always depends on the stage how I lay it out. If I have like a whole crown package, I use that as my down, and then I have a rig hanging, that's my up. But if I have like a whole backside with lightning and fixtures, which is mostly common in hardstyle shows, I use I just draw a line in the center, and everything that is below the center is my down, and everything that is above it is my up. But always depends on how the rig, or how it would look nice in rig. I have a two-part, so that is every second fixture. So Q1 is every odd fixture, and Q2 is every even fixture. It's mirrored, so if I start it, it looks like that. Let me take that one in, make it blue, So now that is every second fixture. It's mirrored, obviously. That way it looks symmetrical when it runs. Uh, I don't think I have the other ones no set up yet. Then I have a look, which I mostly just have as an extra, um, whatever. All sometimes I use it as all moving heads and then all non-moving heads. So Q1 is all moving heads and Q2 is everything else. And then I'll go down to my free step. So these ones have free cues. Uh, the the executors you see over here are just empty executors that trigger executors that are one page below. So I can I can choose the next executor and it offs the other ones. So I don't have two executors running, like 2 part and 3 part at the same time. This way it would just fuck up my look. So I made it this way, so it just offs everything else and the executors are sitting over here. My executor options, I think a few months ago I stepped from a chaser. uh, I went from a chaser to a normal queue list with a trick time of 1, and the executor is assigned to a rate fader, and this way I can control the speed. If I just make it really slow, you can see it over here. So because most of my bumps that I have over here are most of them are with delay times, and I use a rate fader. So down here I have my rate fader, and everything, all my bumps and everything just follows the rate fader, instead of having a rate fader and a speed master. So that's just an easier way to save space, and I don't like clicking a rate fader and a speed fader at the same time, or I click the rate fader and then I change page and I click the speed fader. I got sick and tired of that, so I changed it to a rate fader. So yeah, if you guys have any questions along the way, if you want to see stuff a little bit I have a little closer look into something, how my stuff is laid out. Today I'm only gonna focus on the free step chaser, um, which mostly it's controlled over here. Um, the colors above here are just normal colors, like a color layout view, and the free step chaser is also integrated in my color layout view. So yeah, just save space, and I don't like switching a lot of views back and forth. So let's jump right into how I now let's explain it a little bit more. um So yeah, I explained how to select what I want in my queues. I have two different options. I have an option to set every queue individually, and then which is shown over here. So I have three options for the colors. I have I have three options for every queue, and then three queues that I can choose from for tilt, pan, zoom, strobe, and gobo. And so I can say like in Q1 I can go down, in Q2 I can point them straight forward, and then in Q3 I can go up. So the group that is sitting in Q1 will go down, the group that is sitting in Q2 will go to straight forward, and the group that is sitting in Q3 will go up. I can show that. I go to white. Yes, that works. So I can make it in Q1, I can go red, and then Q2 blue and green. And if we start it, the free part, so as you can see, the fixtures that aren't active, they will just stay in their normal, in their color, whatever information they have on other executors, and everything that is active will go to the color that I have chosen, or if I go tilt, pan, zoom, strobe, gobo, whatever I want. So yeah, and then if I choose all, you see exactly what it does. So that's Q1, 2, and 3. And uh, my all executor, or my all chaser, just goes, it has 6 queues. So it has Q1, 2, and 3. That is normal as in the other ones, and then it has a 1.1 and a 2.1 and a 3.1, and those are just release queues, so it just goes back to default or whatever is selected with other executors, and instead of just going to yeah, never mind. So as I'll show it, so it just has my step 1, step 2, step 3, and in between Q 1.1, 2.1, and 3.1 is just a release. So it just goes to whatever I have chosen in Q1, and then it goes back to the release, and then goes to Q2, and then release, and then Q3, and then releases again. So if I, for example, have only red selected, now it goes red, white, red, white, red, white. That's just another way to make all fixtures move or do something. And then otherwise, if I don't have Q 1.1, 2.1, and 3.1, otherwise it would just stay in red, and then yeah, till I off it again. So yeah, that's what I started with, and then later on I changed it, and now it works better. And yeah, what I also have is I have a release over here above the attributes or features. I think it's attributes. So if I have, let's say, all right, we have, yeah, now red is active. A color information is in the queue. So now let's say I have tilt, pan, zoom, strobe, and gobo also, and I don't want color anymore. I can just click color release, and now the color is gone in the, it's not active anymore. I will show you later on how to achieve that. I'll be showing, I think, the whole way on how to achieve the free step chaser, how to build it. So it's not just an explanation, just a layout explanation. It will also be like a little small tutorial on how to recreate it. and it's also limitless if you want to have 4 cues or 4 steps instead of only 3. Whatever you want. If you want to have like the simple version that just stores blue in all 3 cues, as we can see now, rather than just clicking blue 3 times. I had some issues on my third live show with that, because sometimes I want to make a change while it's running. So now if I want to change from blue to red, I just click red once, and now it goes to red, and I can click blue, and now all 3 cues go to blue. It's just a little easier to have better looks, but that one is a bit more gives you a little bit more options. So if I want to have like something completely different in Q1 apart from Q2, I can do that over here. In the other one, that one just follows in all 3 cues, which is just nice for changing along the way while your executor is running, and then I make a quick change if I want to have if I have my strobe on close, I just want it back to open or to strobe, I just click it, and then it will be active in all 3 steps. I hope that's clear now. And I made a release for all attributes, so I can release gobo, I can release my strobe, I can release tilt, I can release pun, and I can release zoom. And if I have all 6 released, that you can have the executor running and nothing will be shown on stage. So you can also say like you click the executor and everything is released, and then when a drop comes you just throw in a color and it goes to a color, and now it's released again. So that's just, you have multiple ways to work with it live, I think. And what I also have is I have 5 different groups which I can set, and I will show you later how I do that. So for now, let's throw in a color. Does it work? Yes. So for now my spikies are on, so obviously they work. So if I don't want them to work anymore, I put them on off or out, as I call it, because I merge the fixtures in a world which is assigned to those executors. And then now if I run my executor, nothing is shown. And now if I put them in, you can see that the fixtures work again. If I put it out, it just stays on the color if it's stuck in the queue. But if you run the queue again, they're off. So it's pretty dynamic basically. So if I want to have my Mac 101s to be active in the chaser, only those ones I can put those the Mac 101s, I can put them in, and nothing else will follow the executor. So yeah, it's just a way, rather than always have the same amount of fixtures or all the fixtures in and acting to your executor or to the 3-step chaser. I can say I don't want my P5s, I don't want BMFLs, I don't want my Mac 101s, I only want spikies and psych effects. And these are not forced or not drawn to fixture type. you can say you have like your left side, your right side, your whatever. You can make those dynamic as you want, because whatever you store in that group later, that will be copied and merged into the world and removed from the world. So if you, instead of P5, so if you have decoration lights, you have LED parts, you have P5s, you have P2s, you have other different fixture types, and you want that one to be decoration, you just put all of those fixtures in that group, and then you can say they go in or they go out. So that's just a way to take in and out stuff. It's pretty handy, because yeah, you don't want you don't want always everything on, or maybe you just want to have your beams or whatever. So yeah, that's a nice way. um when Pascal showed me that, he had like um the executors I have here now, he had just macros in a layout view over here. But yeah, that was, for me, it was a bit too slow reacting during the show, because I changed the stuff while the executor is running. So I tried to find a way to implement it into my free step chaser, and I had a lot of space left. Also the release, I didn't had those in the free step chaser layout view when I started, but now I moved them here, and it works faster now. Saves me some few changes. So yeah, I think, am I still live? Cause in YouTube, yeah. All right, yeah. I was just checking if I'm still live, and my YouTube froze, was frozen, whatever. So yeah, all right, cool. I have, yeah, 12 people are watching. All right, so let's jump right into how to set it up. Before that, I just the switch chaser is just easy macro that says move layout 7 at 8, and it just replaces, or it just changes. So if you move an object to an existing object or pool item, it will just switches them. So 7 becomes 8 and 8 becomes 7. And because I have my view down here and I have that on uh, all three screens, if I switch my chaser over here, all of them will follow. So that's just an easy way to have all of them follow, rather than just having that one on screen 4 on the free options, and on screen 3 I have my full. So yeah, that's a way that works, I think, better for me. Just a second. I'm gonna have a drink. Alright, so let's jump into um should we do the layout first? How I set it up before show? Or should we go look into the macros that are sitting over here? Because those are basically just all macros. that are sitting inside of the layout view. So let me know. So if we should just go over the macros, which, let me pull that up over here. So should we go over the macros, or should we go and go over here how I set it up before the show? Tiberius modules. Macros. Alright, cool. So you're the only one that commented. So let's go over macros. So it's basically pretty easy. If I show you the macro, it will make sense in a bit when we go over here. So what the macro does is basically it goes into blind on, clear all, group 1 at preset 4.1, store preset 0.1, merge, clear all, blind off. So what it does is basically it takes my color white, because it's color 1, it's always my white. It will take that preset and it stores it into that all preset, which is sitting in Q1, that one is sitting in Q2, and that one in Q3, which is pretty easily explained. So what it does, it just copies a preset into the all preset. So that's for those 3 rows of macros are for the for that one. So step 1, those macros are, where is it? Oh, there. So that's step 1, that's step 2, that's step 3. So if you take a look at macro 1 for color 1, it says blind on, clear all, group 1 at, so group 1 is my group that includes all the fixtures that are used in my 3-step chaser. And so it takes that group at preset 4.1, and then it stores it in preset 0, which is all.1, which is the first queue, and then merge, clear all, blind off. If we take color 1 for the step 2, it's basically the same macro except for line 4. It says store preset 0.2 merge. So it just stores it into here, and the other one stores it into 1. And then if we look at step 3, it's pretty self-explaining, hopefully. So, and that's just, those macros are basically just copy paste a lot of times. So you take color 1, you write that macro first, you just copy paste it over here, name it color 2, and then go add preset 4.2, which is my second color, and then just do that for all those macros. And then you go to position, that is preset 0.33, which is over here. And these ones are only tilt, they only have tilt information, and those ones only have pen information. And I do that when I store that, I before I store something in position, I always if I want it to be separated, I use a filter. So I click tilt if I only want to have tilt stored, and I click pan if I only want to have pan stored. Spril, or however you spell your name. Hi buddy, hey mate. So yeah, that's just so over here you can see only tilt is active. Yeah, that one is wrong. So remove, store, override. Yeah, so now you can see it only has tilt information, and that one has pen information only. And for the macros, basically it's then it goes to global one, then 0.65, which is that one. And later on, when those macros are created, what I do, yeah, few. So you take those macros, you say, let's assign macro 1 through 31, and then you click into your layout pool, zoom to fit, you go to setup mode, and then you can just drag them wherever you want. So your layout view doesn't have to look like that. You can make it look however you want it. That's the cool thing about layout views. So if you recreate it, it doesn't have to look like it looks over here. You can make it completely different. You can make it in columns, you can make it in rows or whatever. So whatever fits you, or whatever fits for basking life. That's the point, because as many operators say, the show isn't on your console, it's on the stage. So you don't have to have a fancy show file with fancy layout views with copying around images. As long as it works on stage, it's cool. So there's no need to have a cool looking layout view, because no one's gonna look at that. Only the guys that are standing behind you that are also operators, they're like, oh man, that looks nice. But it's not, I'm not a fan of copying images around in layout views, because that takes up network traffic, and sometimes it can cause a crash, which it didn't happen to me, but it happened to Pascal um, and other operators. So I don't really recommend having those image copies as Christian Jackson has it in his color layout view, because if you have a fixture type in color red, if those fixtures are on, you can see they are in red, and if they're off and you want them in red, you just click red and then you throw them in. I don't need an indicator that tells me in what color those are. So yeah. Alright. Basically, macros are almost explained. It's just so that macro just goes for all. The only thing that changes is the preset number in step 1 in those macros, and then in step 2 store preset 0.2, that changes, and then again preset for .1, that number changes in every macro, but everything else stays. So line 1, line 2, line 5 and line 6, they stay untouched. And for those ones, let me check, 6, 8, 9, I moved them a little bit further away. Why are those macros? Oh yeah. So these are basically the same macros, but instead of store preset 0.1, it just stores preset 0.1 through 0.3 merge, and that way you have that preset information in all three presets and in all three queues. So that's just a little shortcut, so I don't have to click 3 times for something, because it can be a clusterfuck during show. Alright, so that's basically the macros. Are there any questions for those macros? Because then, if there aren't, we're gonna move over to screen 2 and explain the magic behind making it work. Because once you have your macros done and you have them in the layout view laid out, you still need information in your queue list, or you still need to have your fixtures stored into the executors or queue lists. Otherwise there wouldn't be anything happening. And I always start with a clean patch. I don't do cloning or anything. I just start off with a new patch, and then I make my groups, I make my presets, I hit a lot of macros, I make some I do four delay presets, now 5 delay presets, and then it's just down to hitting a lot of macros, and then that's done. So yeah, if you have any questions about the macros, let me know in the comments. Otherwise, I'm gonna move over and explain the uh, magic behind making it work, let's say. So I'm gonna wait a little bit if there are any comments incoming, because there is a little delay on the stream. So I always read your comments with a little bit of a delay, so be aware of that. Alright, so there are no comments or no questions about the macros. I hope you all understand those macros. It's basically pretty easy. There's not really big magic behind it. So yeah, let's move over to how I create that. Let me clear that out first. No. Alright. I start is basically that's empty. So these presets are also empty, but I'm not gonna be bothered to create them. But it's actually pretty easy. It's just all my colors. Then free presets, mostly it's 45 degrees down, then 90 degrees, and then 135 degrees or whatever. Then I have out and in for the pen, so all the fixtures pointing inwards, all the fixtures pointing straight forward, so off, and then all the fixtures pointing outwards, which is out big, or X out big. Then I have my focus, narrow, normal, wide. I have gobo, I have an open one. I have the open one, so that's just a default gobo, or not the default, that's just the open gobo, or no gobo at all. Then I choose a gobo that I like, and then I take the same gobo and make it a shake. And then for beam or for strobes, I have max strobe, I have open, and then I have a close. With close you can create some really cool effects with pan and tilt, because when the group is active it will shut off, so it turns off, and then it moves to the position that you have chosen, and then once it's deactivated again it will turn on again and move back to the default position. So that's pretty cool. And yeah, those are the presets. Be aware that using filters is pretty cool to separate tilt and pan from each other. So yeah, if you have your tilt preset and you click it through, only tilt should be red, and then for the pan as well, only pan should be red, which in that case it works. Now the method I'm using here, I'm storing it in preset pools before, so it only takes, for example, position information, only focus, only gobo, only beam, because if you have all your fixtures and then you have color information active, position, blah blah blah, and then you store it in beam, it only takes beam, and because beam wasn't active, it's just a easy way to not fuck it up, or just an easy way to not make mistakes. And then I have my 5 groups, which are over here. So group 1 is that one, and then so on. So if I have my spikies, I store them over here. I have a macro that says label world, group name, let's call them spiky 2, and now shouldn't it oh yeah, let's call it, so now you can see it's called spiky 2, so it labels the group. And also, nope, didn't want it to do that. Also in my color layout view it says spiky 2. I still need to change the macro a little bit, so when I have space in between, it will work. Tunahan, hello, hi, how is it going? Yeah, so that's how I set up the names over here and the fixtures. So I can also say I have my X4 bars or X20 or whatever, and my P2, and I store them over here, and I call it Deco. Now as you can see, here it's Deco labeled, here it's labeled Deco. What else does it label? Label macro. Yeah, that's it. Labels the sequence, the group, and 2 macros which I'm not using anymore, so I can scrap that later. Alright, so that's basically the almost set up. I also have my world over here, that's my chaser world. Right now there's nothing, or there's only one fixture, which is a dummy fixture stored into that world. So whenever I take everything out of the world would be basically empty. So when everything is out, everything will be in. So everything will react because the world is empty and basically not working. So I have one dummy fixture sitting in there, so the world is always active. So now there's nothing in that world, and now what we can do is, let me go back to world 1. So now if we put in Deco and Spikies and go back into the world, we can see my Spikies are here, my P2s are here, and my X4 bars are here as well. So now if I take the Deco out, does it work in the programmer? No, it doesn't. So world 1, and then if we go back here, now we can see Deco isn't in there anymore. During the show that updates live, so in the executor it will be updated live. So if you take out decoration, it's not active anymore. It freezes on the last queue it was on. So if you take something out, make sure there's no executor of the 3-step chaser running, and then you can activate it again, and then Deco won't be in there anymore. Let's go back to wall full. Where's it? Chaser world. And in the executor, in the options, you can choose down here in playback world 14, and now it will just follow whatever is in 13. And the other options for the executor is it's auto start, the priority is on high, the speed is on rate 1, ignore exec time, off on overwritten, and yeah, those are the options you need. It's set on a toggle, but I'm not using those, I'm just triggering those executors with those empty queues. So yeah, that's almost everything already explained, but the MA of course doesn't know the groupings. So I have in my group selection view, whatever you want to call it, I have my layout views. So these ones are my all. So now I can say I store these ones in left, take all groups of that one, go right, then I take all of them and go till here, make it down, then I choose all groups again of my down and store up. So now, yep, yep. What's that? Ah, whatever. So for look, let's take all movers, and then everything else, which is just my P2s. So now we have my two-part groups. The two-part, the all and the free part is generated by macros, but you need to select your fixtures in a symmetrical order, and then it works with MA2 and next function and stores it as free part, two part, and all. And now we're just gonna use the spikies. For blocks, I'm always dividing it into three groups. So these are two. Let's take three over here, three over here, that one, and then two over here, two over here, that one, and that one over here. Then for look, yeah, what are we gonna do for look? In the free part, let's do the spikies, the LED beams, and the BMFL, and the X4 bars, and those ones we take into look in the middle one. So now basically I only did it for the spikies. Now I can go to other groups and store it in here as well. So these groups always stay when I click through. The two steps I only have in my all. And now that I have all my groups set up as well, I can go and take, let's go to my free step chaser. Let's separate LED beams, put them over here. Let's call them 150s. 150s, and then the BMFL, and then X4 bar, whatever, X4, and then the P2, So if I only have 5 fixture types that I use in my free step chaser, obviously I'm gonna separate it by fixture types. Or if like P2s and P5s are on the decoration and LED parts, I'm gonna use a deco. So, but in that case, I separate it per fixture type. So P2, that doesn't work, of course. P2. So now basically everything is set up. I have written macros like that, which stores my groups into the chasers. So it looks like that. Obviously, it stores into the sequence and not into the executor, because the executor can be dynamic, so I can move my executor to somewhere else. But the sequence always stays on 535 and the other ones over here. And I have a macro that creates all my release presets, which just goes fixture through, release preset type position, filter free, which then it only stores for tilt, and then it stores it in preset 0.36, it overwrites, and then for the next one, filter 4, store preset 40, which is for my pen, and then for gobo, color, beam, focus, and then some other stuff like prism rotate, and what else I'm using. So if I hit that macro, these presets will be full in a second. Boom, as you can see. Now I have those. It's all basically done by my first macro, which is called ready up. And then I have my go all macro, which just triggers those macros, that stores all my groups into the sequence, and my ready macro, which takes group 402 through 406, which are those ones that are needed in my free step chaser. It stores it into group 1, which is that one, my bump group. If that is empty, the free step chaser won't work. And then it just takes all the presets and stores it into the all preset pool. So if I hit that, let me move that, move that one over here. Come on. Well, oh, move over here. So now if I click ready up, and now my free step chaser is ready. You can also see it over here with the command line. And now it's ready. So all I have to do is I need to create those groups. I need to store the groups for the world. I need to have my presets. And I need to have those two filters for tilt and pen. I need to have the world. And then I hit a macro, and then everything is basically stored. Let me check if that looks good. Gonna try, maybe I can show you in MA3D, because I don't have my VisiVig dongle anymore. Where is it? Let me see if it's even the right. Yeah. Hopefully it's the right software. So yes. Probably I'm not in the same. Yes, I am. Perfect. So 3D at present. Boom. Yes. Connect. Yes. There we go. So obviously it looks a little bit weird because it's MA, but we can make it work. So move, zoom a little bit. Yeah. Alright, so no, don't close. I'm gonna let me just set up an extra view for that. Display capture. Yep. And Windows capture. Yep. MA3D. Yep. So now you should see MA3D down here. Hopefully that works. So now if I, yes. Ah, that's pretty fucking slow. Picture types. Spikies, where are they? Spikies. Edit. Minimum 3D time 0.5. 0.5. It's gonna be pretty fast. Yeah. So now I have my blocks on. Let's take my all. And now we can see how the three-step chaser works. So we have open now. The color is red. Nice blue. Nice green. We want them to stay in the middle. So now they do. Let's just release anything else. So now it's only color. Now I want them to go inwards. In that case it's outwards because MA3D. Because I have my my tilt and my pen inverted, and now the other way I can say go up, I can say go down, I can say go to stay on 90 degrees and then center, then I can say go narrow, zoom, stay on default, wide. Obviously in MA3D it's pretty slow, so we're gonna remove that as well. There is no gobo in that one. We can say strobe, we can say open, then we can say close. So now that looks pretty cool if I have a position. So now if we take that and then take the blocks, or the free part, and we're gonna throw in outwards as well. So that's basically how the free step chaser works with the all macros. Let's call them all. And then we just go to all again. We're gonna make it open. Now we're gonna switch over to that one, and then we say we want it blue, green, yellow, and then we want it down, inwards, and up. And then with my rate fader I can tap the speed. I can make it faster, I can make it pretty slow. And now if we take block, it's gonna look like that. If I take my 2-part, it's gonna, obviously that looks pretty stupid now, so I'll go back to that one, go blue, up. Oh. Close it. And if we play it fast on a hardstyle beat, 2-part or down up. If you go down up, you can do like down and up, and open open, or close it, and then outwards. So yeah, there are a lot of possibilities you can do with that free step chaser. And now what we're gonna do is we off it, we take out the spikies, and then we put them on again, and nothing happens, as you can see. And then I click my spikies again, and they're back. So yeah, that's basically the free step chaser explained. It's pretty easy. You should be able to build it yourself now or make it your own. If you have any questions, feel free to ask him now. Otherwise, I'm gonna end the stream, and you can re-watch the video as many times as you want, because it will stay online right after it's done. So I'm gonna wait for some questions, and then I'm gonna leave for today. You're probably gonna hear a delay now. So yeah, there are no questions so far. I'm gonna end the stream. Volkot said thank you. No worries. I need to say thank you for Pascal for showing me the free step chaser. I basically copied it at the beginning, and then I made it my own. Uh, he already learned me a lot in MA, and I'm pretty sure he's a big part, or he took a big part of where I am at. So thank you, Pascal, for teaching me. And if you want to, if you like the stream, you can donate some money in the there's a link in the description. um, I'm trying, or probably going back to a weekly stream again. Last couple of days or weeks I used the time to visit friends because the lockdown is gone, and I did some a lot of things. Meanwhile, I helped a friend of mine. So yeah, now I'm trying to be back with streams. You can shoot me a message on Facebook if you have anything you want to see or want to know or what I could go over. Um, Make sure to subscribe because I'm still uploading a few videos in the next few days from building a festival, because I still have a lot of them saved. And I'm also gonna make a video about a tool that I got, which makes it possible to control Reaper over MA. So if I want to play Reaper, I can click play here, and then it just plays, and then pause, stop, rewind, forward. I will make a small video about that. And yeah, make sure to subscribe, and see you in the next video. Thanks for tuning in, and bye bye.